Welcome back to Starkiller Base. Today we have the finals from the face-to-face game store championship. On the left we have Franco playing Palpatine, and on the right we have myself playing Elite Unkar FN First Order Trooper. I'm John.
And I'm Austin.
So it looks like Franco brought eUnkar to the table, and I brought the Mos Eisley Spaceport, which is the one that does effectively nothing to most people. So there's an interesting thing here, right? The choice between, when I win initiative, the choice between playing my battlefield and Palpatine's, does the 2 extra shields that he gets outweigh the fact that he's probably going to heal himself for God knows how much damage with eUnkar?
Yeah, for real.
It's a tough call.
There was a player recently at one of our store champs. Deflect makes perfect sense. There was a player at one of our store champs recently who was talking about Rejuvenate and how, it's no cost, but it's also low value. Like, there are other cards that could compete. Oh my goodness, that is the best defense.
That was a really good time to have best
boy,
defense.
That was perfect.
I kept that one on my mulligan, actually. One thing I want to mention real quick, when you play Friends in Low Places or any other effect that you look at your opponent's hand and get rid of a card, make sure that I focus on the card that I get rid of, and then I put my opponent's hand back, and I completely forget what's in their hand. So make sure that you get rid of the card, and then take a look again at their hand to make sure that you know what you're putting back in there.
Yeah, definitely. Same thing at that same store champ. There was someone who did Friends in Low Places, and they're like, "Can I see your hand again?" And I was like, "I mean, fine." You know, I was cool about it, but the money card for sure.
Yeah, I did the little fist pump off camera when I hit that one, because that was definitely what I was going for.
Yeah, it's really strong, especially because, I mean, A, the money, B, he can't throw that exact dice at you. I was looking at the Z6 as a really good option. Unkar's 2s.
Or a rocket launcher.
Yeah, there's a million good things. That's great. Resource, nothing to sniff at least.
So he's claimed already, so I've got free reign here. Not that I have that much stuff left to do, but hitting 3 resources definitely helps the ball rolling.
Definitely.
I haven't even rolled an FN yet, so.
Too bad that Stormtrooper didn't have anything to do. Ooh.
Yep.
And yeah, always make sure that you, as players, watch the difference between the FN 9's dice and the Z6 dice, because that blank is tempting to re-roll when you know you have the Z6, but you're like, oh no, it's the wrong dice. So.
Yeah, exactly. I had I think it was the top 4 game. I roll for initiative, and I see a 3 melee for 1 on my FN die. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. That's
hey, you're right.
It doesn't matter. 2 has the shields first, and then the 3rd one.
Yep, smart of him not to illusion that. I mean, it's only 1 damage, and there's no vibro knife. Okay, looks like that was a pretty fast turn 1, but boy, impactful because of the force throw. Jeez, that was a really good early lead, and another best defense for you.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like my board got that much better, but getting rid of those double 3s and putting them on the trooper was fantastic. I drew into another Friends in Low Places.
That is.
So he's got no die control. I mean, the 2 force illusions is effectively die control anyway, so I'm not crying for the guy, but you know, it'd be easier to have something.
Definitely. Oh my goodness, that is ambitious. That is so ambitious. Pop quiz, what's in his hand?
Why mess around, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? Forget it. Let's just split it up. I mean, Palpatine without his Palpatine dice, like, what's the holocron going to do? I mean, sure, he's got Force Lightning in his hand, but I've got die control like crazy.
There you go. Good remembering.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh my goodness! So. You've got to be kidding me! He did Rejuvenate and he didn't discard the Force Lightning to reroll.
Yeah, he had a 0 and a 4, and he saw that I had 3 Unkar value.
And he knew that you knew what was in the hand.
In the interview afterwards, he was interviewed by the VTTV, which is the other guys that filmed this thing. He said that after the second Friends in Low Places and the second best defense, he was sort of demoralized and was just like, oh, for God's sake.
I mean, I understand, but it's like, man, that's a rough hit. I mean, other than Rise Again, you can't hit something better than that. Especially when Holocron's out on the table.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a misplay to not just discard the Force Lightning to re-roll it, because I mean, yeah, admittedly, if you reroll it, especially, you'd like to put the lightning in. But unless he forgot about the eUnkar ability, I mean, it was always better to discard it, and then he can always rise again it in later for free.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes the other Force Lightning from Force Illusion.
And
too.
next holocron too. I mean, and it's like, oh yeah, he already has a holocron, but yeah, he has no other upgrades out right now, and
FN still hadn't rolled in at that point.
Oh my goodness, well, really wants to magnetize that resource. But holocron's super good if it can be linked with the resource or and the focus side. So I mean, it's a bummer for him to lose that for sure. It's not the worst thing in the whole world, but more appreciate upgrades now with you uncarring them out than not, you know.
Yep.
Plus, it's another.
And on the other hand, here it's.
Oh, basically, it's just another 0 as a potential uncar target, which is really good to try and throw you off. But you were saying?
Yeah, 3 resources worth of weapons is always going to do more than 1 damage anyway. So.
Serious.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to chew through shields and a Force Illusion, and there's so much stuff that he can do in this deck, as we saw in the earlier game. That can heal himself. He can just stay alive forever. But there's another 3, and there goes again.
Goodness, it was funny. I was just about to say, listen, if you have a 3rd best defense, I'm going home.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. That's good. Salvage stand, control the rise again. He's gonna.
Yeah, I really wanted to hit the Imperial Inspection early so that I could. Oh, there's rise again. See, that was a sort of a preemptive rise again. It wasn't a full heal, but I mean, it gets rid of it out of his hand, and it gives him that Force Lightning.
Definitely.
So, why not? I guess not a bad call.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have waited until he took, until if I roll in and I have 3 value that's not damaged, then sure. But he could always have waited until I rolled in and did a couple more damage so he could heal the full value worth. But
well, I understand the position he's in with that, especially as far as like just kind of maintaining some kind of tempo and getting rid of Rise Again out of the hand. Totally follow.
Well, and also as soon as I roll an Unkar and hit that salvage stand, he'd only have 4 resources, not 5, so he'd have lost it. It was sort of a use it or lose it, I think.
And lose it in 2 terrible ways.
Yes. Yeah, if he can't play it, I mean, he could still, again, discard it to reroll the holocron.
Man, that'd be a waste. But I'm a huge fan of full value Rise Again, if at all possible, just because I remember we've discussed this before, that it's basically the same as, I believe you were saying, 2.5 field medics, something like that. Say second chance is 2 less. And so, I mean, with that, you really want to get the full heal off of it, and especially, at least he got the lightning. Oh my goodness, you are just pulling like a madman.
Well, I mean, if you pay 5 and you heal 2 and get a Force Lightning, it's sort of like paying for a Force Lightning and playing field medic, right? So, yeah, this game, my deck was just firing on all cylinders. Like, I mean, that's a lot of pay sides and everything, but it's a ton of damage.
Well, we just picked up the one from Isolation 2 to A, remove the control, B, pay for the next side. So, I mean...
Yep.
Yeah.
That's 9 damage showing right there. And, of course, 2 at a time, so Force Solution's not that great.
Definitely.
Dooku would love it, though.
Yeah, really? Gosh, man. He's someone who I hopes become relevant again.
Yeah, I love Dooku. He's really
yeah, I remember one of the first times I played, I fought against a Dooku Jabba with one of my friends, Django Veers, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, it's a really difficult deck, blah blah," but I just blew up Jabba, and then the game ended. Like,
yeah, I've played games where it was like Grievous Dooku, and you play a Leia Akbar deck that has all modified sides and kill Dooku first, and Grievous is like, 80% of my cards don't work anymore. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
That was not supposed to happen.
Speaking of not supposed to happen, that sucks to get a blank when 5 of your sides show damage. Oh yeah, my goodness, you are just controlling those dice like nobody's business.
Well, I mean that's the problem with Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
You play a Poe Maz meta where everyone's just like, well, there's no point in putting control cards in my deck because I can't use them, and that's one thing. But when you run into, Palpatine runs into a control deck, it's like, okay, I'm in trouble now.
Definitely. Well, speaking of being in trouble.
Yeah, I was hoping to use the Imperial Inspection to get the Force Illusions out of the way, but I mean, he can always pay to put them back out again. But yeah, the interesting first world problem here on FN is I've got 9 resources worth of upgrades, so there's no point in playing up more upgrades on him. So I think I start playing them out on the other characters because why not? I mean, like
Oh, sorry.
FN is the furthest one to
I
die,
looked at my hand and I was like,
or from dying right
that's how
now.
you
So
Definitely.
My apologies. Okay.
otherwise, I would overwrite the rocket launcher with something that has redeploy, so that when he dies, it goes somewhere else.
I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense. But you've got, I mean, the most primo best upgrades on FN right now. And oh hey, I didn't know the Stormtrooper had black sides on his dice.
It's true.
I wouldn't.
Unlike the fan-made Jar Jar Binkses that have like 5 blanks. These guys only have
Yeah,
2.
really. Yeah, I guess, and at least he got speed out from the holocron. But oh, well, that's the only bit of control he's got right now. We'll see if.
Yeah, and this is where I'm really happy that the Trooper isn't showing a blank.
I mean, the one time. Yep, there you go.
And it's funny because using Imperial Inspection on zero-cost upgrades is actually sort of counterintuitive if you're playing on uncarring your opponent. But a lot of the time, the zero-cost upgrades are the best ones, so you're okay to hit it just to get rid of it. Whereas you don't get money off of it, it's still nice to hit it. And like I've had times where my opponent, they get their force speed back in their their fast hands back in their hand, and I get rid of it, and that's pretty nice.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's the only way to get rid of fast hands right now because it's an ability. No sabotage, no disarm. We've discussed that before. But yeah, that's perfect way to get rid of it.
Interesting. I'm surprised I didn't keep the rocket launcher there, but I guess getting 2 uses out of a flamethrower is potentially better.
I think also too that it's smart because it's got melee sides, and if you can roll and resolve them, all the sides unified, then I mean it's always really strong, versus having to wait on a rocket launcher or potential deflect, something like that.
Yeah, that's actually absolutely what the reasoning was. There was 2 reasons. One is that the rocket launcher has 2 blanks and I can't re-roll it. The other one is that deflect is a real bitch. So yes, that was my thinking. I mean, it's definitely nice to go all melee so that you can be a bit faster, but I have no pretense that I'm going to be faster than a Palpatine deck in this deck. There's no way.
I mean, and yet here we are. He's on 11 health and he's healed a few. I think maybe 3 points total. The rejuvenate when he lost the Force Lightning, and then rise again for maybe another few points.
Yep.
So
yeah, with the control that I've had this far in the game, definitely keeping his battlefield away from him was the right choice.
Oh my goodness, this is just insult to injury.
Yeah, I've actually never had the deck work this well before. I mean, this is sort of the general idea, but normally, at this point, FN is dead and eUnkar is half dead, and I've got a couple of redeploy upgrades rolling, but I mean, every time he rolled any damage, I was able to mitigate it so far, pretty much.
Oh my goodness. That is also just such an unfortunate roll. Shields don't matter. He doesn't want to remove one of his own blanks, and then he's got 2 blanks.
I'd still take the shields.
Well, I mean, just Vibraknife is...
The Vibraknife is
yeah,
there,
it's just like, it's super, super strong.
Pay 2. I'll put another Vibraknife with
Oh my goodness.
Crazy knife wielding junk dealer.
That is...
Ambush action. I'll roll in eUnkar.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the finals, so I wasn't taking my foot off the gas, but, the disparity at this point was just unfortunate.
Oh my gosh.
Because my deck was just firing on all cylinders, like I said.
Well, and plus you hit both. Remembered
Yep.
both colors.
And the 1 resource and the +2 on top of all that. And that was about as good a roll as eUnkar could put out, short of the fact that he rolled no damage.
Definitely. Yep, smart to get rid of those. Never know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know your opponent's deck, right? Like if you're worried about any, like the number of different blue events that can control dice that cost money is huge. So if you can get rid of their money, it's great. And it's actually interesting because I've played against a lot of Palpatine with this eUnkar FN First Order Trooper deck, and I noticed that this is actually the only time I've ever seen the Emperor player get a Rise Again off on me, because normally they're so afraid of getting it uncarded that they discard it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't share that. I would rather do high risk, high reward operations. But
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that is so just. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, when you've got so few dice because they're all getting controlled, I mean, the randomness is gonna hurt a lot more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
If you've got 9 dice and you hit damage sides on 2, it's cool. But if you got 1 die, You got your, 1 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, depending on the die.
Any money? None. All right. I'll roll an FN.
So I rolled in 8 damage
Wow.
there, and that was enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot closer games throughout the day, and at the end there, it just everything came together like I couldn't have couldn't have wished for it to come together better. So
Wow.
that was a tough beat for my opponent, but I'll definitely
Definitely.
take
Well,
it.
I mean, good game from both players. I mean, he played the Rise Again about as well as he could, so is what it is.
That's the thing about Destiny, man. Like you can build the deck and pilot it as well as you can, and sometimes the dice just put you out of the game. There's nothing you can do about it.
I know, it's a sad story.
For sure. Well, thanks again for coming out, Austin. It looks like that's the end of our face-to-face Game Store Championship coverage, so we'll be going on to a new series soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks for having me, and yeah, that was a explosive finals.
Thanks a lot. All right, we'll see you next time on Starkiller Base.